Hello students, this is Dr. Sujata Magdum, Assistant Professor in Zoology, KTHM College, Nashik. Today, I'll be dealing with the subject Immunology for MSc Part 2 students, Semester 3. And in this, I'll be dealing with Tolerance and Autoimmunity chapter, of which autoimmunity will be discussed in detail. From the previous lecture, wherein I talked about tolerance, you are now familiar with the significance of immunocompetent cell to show or to have you can say a kind of non-reactivity against the self antigens. Now this non-reactivity with the self antigens lead to development of tolerance, and it can sometimes happen that the interaction can lead to formation of some kind of complexes, and these complexes in turn are responsible for showing interaction between the immunocompetent cell and the self antigen, as a result of which there is development of disease, and such diseases which are formed due to interaction of the immunocompetent cell with the self antigen, they are called as autoimmune diseases. Now today's topic, what I'll be talking about is only the significance of autoimmunity and what are the different causes of autoimmunity which are seen in general. Now this autoimmunity, in other words, you can say is a set or a kind of protection against the self antigen, but it actually implies that even if I'm saying it is a set of protection, but it causes injury to the self body. The reason behind this is the immunocompetent cell, they interact with the self antigen and lead to development of disease. So it forms the cause for development of injury, and therefore we can say it is a sign of development of injury to the body. Now, I can define this autoimmunity as the structural and functional condition wherein the damage is produced by the action of immunologically competent cells or antibodies against normal component of the body. Now, this autoimmunity be defined as autoallergens in other words, and this is more applicable and acceptable alternative to the term, as the definition for autoallergy can be defined to show development of certain kind of response against the immunocompetent cell. Now with this background, we'll try to understand who all studied the process of autoimmunity in detail. At the very beginning, Metelnikov in 1900, he tried to show the significance of autoimmunity, and he worked on guinea pigs which were injected with their own spermatozoa, and this led to formation of sperm immobilizing antibodies. Later on, Ehrlich in 1901 observed that the goats produced antibody against erythrocytes from other goat, but does not contain their own, and therefore he postulated the concept of horror autotoxicus. This has actually led to the understanding of autoimmunity in detail, but he was not very clear, and he did not define the autoimmunization as an impossibility, and even he could not understand the pathogenic possibility. So the credit cannot be given entirely to Ehrlich. Later, Doneth and Landsteiner in 1904 identified that the circulating autoantibodies in the cold you can say hemoglobin Landsteiner in 1904 identified circulating and autoantibodies in paroxysmal cold hematoglobinuria, a hematolysine which binds with the patient's erythrocyte at low temperature and produces complement depending hemolysis on warming. This was the first description of autoimmune disease in man. Later, Damschek and Schwartz in 1938 established the autoimmune basis of acute hemolytic anemia. Followed by this, the Witebski in 1957, he extended the work of others and then he defined the autoimmunity, and according to him, the autoimmune diseases, it shows an autoimmune response which could be humoral, cellular, or sometimes both. Further, he also stated that the antigens responsible for autoimmune responses must be identified, isolated, and then characterized. And finally, he said that the same antigen which must be induced in experimental animal should have the same immunopathological conditions which are responsible to show the diseases. And he also defined the existence of passive transfer of the diseases which are possible for the transport of antibodies or sensitizing the lymphocyte. With this background, now we will try to understand the autoimmunity. This condition of autoimmunity is observed in adults and the range is between 5 to 7%. Again, of this 5 to 7%, two-thirds people who are suffering from autoimmunity are the female candidates. There are more than 40 diseases which are been classified as autoimmune in origin. Now there are various different causes for autoimmunity, like the genetic factor, then it could be the autoimmune stimulation, which is because of the immune system or the immune regulation. Now this could be because of the microbial infection which are stimulating the antigen presenting cell carrying the self antigen, or sometimes the high level of antigen presenting cell with second signals can break the energy. In both the condition, we can say that the immune stimulation or regulation could be one of the cause for development of autoimmunity. Apart from that, there are large number of environmental factors like the chemo factors or the chemical agents, you can say, or the UV radiations, or sometimes the viral particles which are also the cause of autoimmune diseases. Now, what are the effects of this autoimmunity? Autoimmunity leads to tissue destruction. It can also cause antibody block in the normal functioning. Further, sometimes the antibodies can stimulate inappropriate conditions, or there can be a complex generated between the antigen and antibody. Now let us see what is tissue destruction. Let us consider an example of diabetes, which you know is caused when there is improper secretion of insulin. Now this is because probably if the pancreatic cells, they are being destroyed by the CTL. Now what is CTL? CTL is cytotoxic T cells. Now cytotoxic T cells, if they are destroying the beta cells, here I have written B cells, but it has to be beta cells of pancreas which are responsible for secretion of insulin. If they are destroyed, then obviously there will be low level of insulin, and this can lead to increase in blood glucose level into the body, which is nothing but diabetes. In the same way, the antibodies can block the normal functioning. In case of myasthenia gravis, which is a disease of muscles, here the antibody binds with acetylcholine receptors, and so the contraction and relaxation of the muscle becomes slowed down, and as a result the muscles remain fatigued for a longer period, and this disease is called as myasthenia gravis. The third one, that is antibodies stimulate inappropriate function. The example is Graves' disease. You know, in Graves' disease there is excessive secretion of thyroid. Now here what happens is antibodies are generated to the thyroglobulin, And as a result of these generated antibodies, they bind with TSH receptors of the thyroid gland. And as a result of this binding, the TSH, which actually the antibodies which are binding to TSH, they are the mimic of thyroid stimulating hormone. As a result of which, there is excessive binding of these antibodies to the thyroid cells, and this helps in activating the thyroid gland for the production of thyroid hormone. Moreover, this activated thyroid cells, they are unregulated for the secretion, and therefore there is continuous secretion of thyroid seen, as a result of which we can say there is excessive accumulation of thyroid and into the body, which leads to Graves' disease. The fourth one is antigen antibody complex, which affects the function. The best example to describe this antigen antibody complex is an example of rheumatoid arthritis. Now, rheumatoid arthritis, you know, there is swelling seen into the joints, and this is once again more prominently observed into the female, wherein the rheumatoid factor is seen present into the plasma. Now, this rheumatoid factor actually is IgM specific. Now, what is IgM? IgM refers to immunoglobulin M type. This part you will understand when I'll be talking about the structure of antibodies and types of antibodies. Now, this IgM, which is rheumatoid factor specific, it binds with the IgG. IgG is again an immunoglobulin, so there is binding of antibody IgM to IgG, and therefore there is formation of a complex which deposits into the joints of the person, and as a result of which there is swelling seen in the person into the joint regions, which is called as rheumatoid arthritis. Now, what are the different causes of autoimmunity? This is because of the probable reason like the release of sequestered antigen. This is one of the prominent factor for the cause of autoimmunity. Smoking can also trigger the autoimmunity. The best example is it triggers the syndrome which is called as good posture syndrome, wherein in this good posture syndrome, you know that the alveoli, they are seen exposed to collagen. Now, why they are exposed? Alveolar basement membrane normally is not seen exposed to immune system, wherein the smoking, it causes the exposure of the alveoli to the collagen. That means the basement membrane of the alveolar cup, it is damaged, and as a result of which on the lower side, which contains large amount of connective tissue in the form of collagen, it gets exposed, and that leads to good postures syndrome. In the same way, anticollagen antigens, they also damage the lungs and the kidney. The fourth cause for autoimmunity is anti-sperm antibodies, which are produced in some men after the vasectomy. Injection of myelin basic proteins, that is MBP, is also responsible to produce MS-like EAE. That this is again a type of autoimmunity which is commonly observed in mice. Autoimmunity may be triggered by sometimes injury or infection. Now let us talk about the mechanism of autoimmunity. There are various different mechanisms which are described to be the causative agent of autoimmunity, like the antigens released from hidden location, antigen generated by molecular changes, molecular mimicry, alterations in antigen processing, infections, genetic factor, lymphocytic abnormalities, failure of central as well as peripheral tolerance, and polyclonal lymphocyte activation. These are few to understand. Now we are going to understand them in detail. Now this is actually beginning, the first point is with reference to antigen related which are seen in the hidden locations. You know that Many of the organs, like the central nervous system, testes, eyes, or cornea, they have the self antigens and they are seen in hidden condition. But supposing if there is damage seen with the central nervous system or the testes or the eye, that is especially the corneal region, that leads to organ damage. In this condition, the hidden antigens will be released or they will be exposed. Exposed in the sense, these antigens, because the organ is damaged, will be reaching to the bloodstream, and when it reaches to the bloodstream, it is now getting sensitizing the different types of cells which comes in contact to it, and as a result of which it stimulates the generation of autoimmunity. I hope it is clear to you. Now, in the second way, here we can say that the antigens which are generated by the molecular changes, they are also responsible for cause of autoimmunity, like development of completely new epitopes on the normal proteins are responsible for the cause of autoimmunity. Now, what is RF? RF is the rheumatic factor, as I talked about rheumatoid arthritis in the previous slide. So this rheumatoid this factor is responsible for the cause of autoimmunity. So how does it happen? It is because there is an interaction seen between antigen and antibody, and this leads to formation of a new epitope. Now what is new epitope? Epitope actually is a receptor which is seen related to antigen, or in other words you can remember that antigens, they show receptors which are called as epitopes. Now these epitopes, they are exposed on the Fc region of antibodies, right? If you recall what I talked about rheumatoid arthritis, there are two different types of antibodies, that is IgG and IgM, right? So IgM will be seen attached with IgG at its Fc region, and this leads to formation of the rheumatoid factor, and this results into the development of disease which is called as rheumatoid arthritis, or sometimes in systemic lupus erythrosis also you can see the same mechanism which is responsible for formation of autoimmunity. Then there are large number of molecular mimics which are also responsible to trigger autoimmunity, like the sharing of epitopes between an infectious agent and its host can lead to development of autoimmunity. Sometimes the antibodies directed against the infectious agent, they start reacting with the normal self antigen, and this could be another reason for the cause of autoimmunity. So what you should understand here is the molecular mimics which are present into the infectious agent, or the antibodies which are responsible for directing the infectious cause of disease. In both the condition, the autoimmunity can be triggered. Alterations in antigen processing. You know that antigens, they are processed by T cells with the help of antigen presenting cells. The processed antigens, they are given for the mechanism for knocking down. Now T cells, if they fail to develop tolerance to the self antigen because it is not efficiently processed, probably this can lead to development of autoimmunity. If something happens to improve the processing, an autoimmune disease can also be triggered. Further, this usually happens at the site of inflammation, resulting in modified antibody. Example is thyrotoxicis, or you can say diabetes. Then the infection can also be the root cause of autoimmunity. Here, the autoimmunity is not due to infectious agent itself, but results from dysregulation of host immune responses by the microbes, like the polyclonal lymphocyte activation or enhancement stimulated by the co-stimulator. because of certain kind of infection can also lead to development of autoimmunity. Lymphocyte abnormalities. Primary abnormalities either in by the B or T cells can lead to development of abnormal lymphocyte. Since these cells are critical for the regulation of all immunocompetent cells or immunological responses, the MHC presentation of all antigenic peptides to these cells will be defective, and in such case all the cells will become abnormal. Abnormalities in lymphocytes could affect any one of the mechanisms that normally contains self-tolerance. Then there are genetic factors which are also responsible for development of this kind of autoimmunity. The important genes that regulate development of autoimmunity are always seen located within MHC. Now this MHC is major histocompatible complex which have a very critical role in maturation of T cells, and they induce the IR. IR refers to immunological responses, that is cell mediated immunity or the humoral type of immunity. Now this MHC2 genes are directly responsible for autoantigen processing and presentation. The structure of antigens binding grooves will determine if specific antigens will trigger an autoimmune responses. Example is diabetes mellitus in dog, DLA A3, A7, A10 and DLA B4. These are the different genes of MHC molecule which are responsible for propagation of autoimmunity. Likewise, in systemic lupus erythrosis, DLA-A7 is responsible. Polyerythritis is caused due to DLA-A7. Now, in the same way, we can say there are different components like the failure of central as well as the peripheral tolerance can also lead to development of autoimmunity. Let us talk about failure of central tolerance. Now you know central means the primary lymphoid organ which is responsible to show positive selection for those cells which have which are showing no reaction against the self antigen. So such cells they will be proliferated, whereas if the cells they are showing interaction with the self antigen, such cells will be deleted. So the process is called as negative selection, and this is commonly observed in the T cell selection in the thymus, and it causes apoptosis. Now failure to this condition can start with development of autoimmune disease. In the same way, polyclonal lymphocyte activations are responsible for development of autoimmunity, like stimulation of non-deleted self-reacting cells. Supposingly, if the T cells which are showing which are showing interaction or reaction with the self antigens, if they are retained, then such defected T cells they are responsible for development of autoimmunity. These are activated by certain activators, and these activators could be LPS or bacterial super antigens, and because of this infection there could be development of autoimmunity. With this we are coming to the end of today's topic, and tomorrow I'll be talking in detail about the classification of autoimmunity. Thank you so much.